going towards the end zone. And it is caught for a touchdown.
Over the middle, caught behind the defense. He's gonna go. Taser power.
Welcome back to SFL Crunch Time. I'm Josh Zirkle. Tyler Falk is in this box over here once again. Sioux Falls putting all their chips in the middle. How did that turn out? Let's go around the league and find out. And we will begin in Oklahoma. Remember, these are the short highlights. We show you the big highlights later. DJ Hume had himself a big day. Only 4 catches, but 2 of those were touchdowns. There's the first one right there. Tulsa taking care of business. Oh, we're going to show you the second one too. How about this? Hume just sitting right there. How are you going to leave that guy open? Tulsa wins 38-36.
Up on over now to Los Angeles as the Lycans were trying to make a dramatic comeback against the Storm as they recover the onside kick later on the fourth quarter, and then Sully Richardson, he giveth and taketh away. Ryan Davidson with his second pick of the ballgame seals the deal for the Storm in Los Angeles. They take the win 24-10.
Portland going to visit Carolina, still looking for their first win of the season. Ezekiel Love gets a block, breaks a tackle. He is in the end zone for his first of 3 touchdowns of the day. Had himself an outstanding sesh, 155 yards, 3 scores, but it's Harish Prasad getting it done in the end zone there. Carolina wins.
Over to Buffalo, New York. When it all looked hopeless for the Queen City Corsairs, they stopped them on special teams. That would kickstart the dramatic come-from-behind win for Queen City. 26-22 the final.
Sioux Falls and Las Vegas. Baby needs another win. Kay Marion, her only catch of the game, goes 97 yards, coast to coast. Up and down Las Vegas Boulevard. Sparrows win 29-17 your final out of Vegas.
And now over to Arizona. The Revolution and Scorpions are playing their throwback uniforms, and the Revolution finished out the football game, getting back on top with a win with just some sound quality football as they take the victory 30-10.
Colin Hart, 2 touchdowns in that game. You just saw him. Vancouver invading the South, Charleston. You're not going to believe this, but Kendra Hall had herself a heck of a game, making a catch right there, 174 yards on 10 catches. Did not get the end zone that time, but Sawyer Stern did. He's in. Unfortunately, it was Charleston coming up with the dub, 26-23.
Back in our nation's capital, DC Dragons, Mexico City Aztecs, Kevin Say looking to maintain his fine form that he's been in. The DC Dragons looking to pick up win number 4 against the always tough Aztecs. And early on, DC finds himself up 14-6 as Say made an earlier run for a first down. It was called on again on a close couple of yards and gets it done for the first down in tough yardage. And finally, Kevin Say to cap off the drive. Well, whoop! It's another big old run for Kevin Say. Second of the ball game for the DC Dragons, and DC would take a 21-6 lead. Matt Wilson, he had an okay start, especially for the first couple of quarters. They'll find Bill Henry on the outside, and they're back in the hurry up, trying to march down the field quickly. Swing pass near side. Phoenix Jones, and Phoenix Jones shoulders Peanut Say and gets close to the first down here as the clock ticks under a minute. Later on, Mexico City, deep bomb, corner route, that is hauled in down to the 12-yard line. Jacob McCall with the reception, but the drive would peter out in the waning stages of the first half, and on comes Cole Varner to make it a 21-9 ball game. Final second of the half, well, if you'd expect him to run out the football, or expect to run out the first half, Kevin Say runs out the first half and into the locker room with his 3rd touchdown of the ball game. As we take a look again, Kevin Say is an absolute animal this season. He already has the same amount of rushing touchdowns that he did in his rookie campaign with 8. He's got just about the same amount of rushing yards in his rookie campaign. Kevin Say has been unlocked, and he's become the DC Dragons cheat code here in season 18. And the DC Dragons would go into the half 28-9. As we come out at halftime, the Aztecs needed to make something happen. Quick drop and a pump from Wilson, and Peanut Say maybe having a little bit of revenge on the Aztecs. He comes up and snags that one from Matt Wilson. Pick number 1 only in the ball game for Matt Wilson, and Kevin Say and company would take over. They ultimately have to go ahead and punt this one away, and Wilson trying to get the Aztecs back cannon, and Bill Henry gets behind the defense for a long 66-yard touchdown for the tight end. And the Aztecs looking to start crawling their way out of that deficit as we take a look again. And Bill Henry just behind Rockefeller, and he would not be stopped before he hit Peter. He gets behind the defender. Nice little cheeky move there. Back to the DC Dragons as Synergy makes one of the most athletic passing touchdowns I have seen so far this season. He finds his man to Beth Banfield, and if things wouldn't start getting from bad to worse, the Aztecs, Matt Wilson throws his second pick. He ultimately would end up with a trio of picks as the Dragons take the win, 45-23.
The Denver Nightwings paying a visit to Tulsa. Tulsa looking pretty good of late. There's Douglas Brown looking really good right there, in for the score. It'll be his first of the game, and we are knotted at 14 apiece. And let's get stabby. Denver would have a chance to answer. Throw is complete. Ball's on the ground. Tulsa would recover. Take another look at the replay here. Nice throw by Price. Interesting deflection strategy there. Not sure if that would count as a catch, but it would hold up under review. And now JQ trying to find Gabriel Manning. What a hot couple of games he's had. Tremendous catch there for Manning. Touchdown. Manning would finish with 128 yards on just 5 catches and that score. Denver would punt it away and leave Tulsa with great field position. They're going to start this coming drive in plus territory with 1:04 left in the half. They got a chance to add some more points. Brooke Beisel is going to be short from 56 yards. Denver would have a chance to answer, and Logan Keel would answer the call. Down to the right side, and Denver tacks on some points before they head to intermission. Look at this. Keel, one of the rising deep threats in the SFL. Got to play better defense than that against Keel, and he is off to the promised land. We are knotted at 21 apiece at the intermission. JQ intercepted on the last play of the second quarter. They would go to the break, knotted at 21. Denver threatening in the third, and that is intercepted. King Rashid, 38-36. Tulsa's won 2 in a row. And another big win for Tulsa. Running back Douglas Brown proposing to kicker Brooke Beisel, and she accepted. Beautiful shot of the skyline of Chicago there. Douglas Brown told me that he had to lure her out to that spot and was afraid that they weren't going to make it. Good thing she was wearing those cute boots. Congratulations to the happy couple and to the Desperados as well. Ryan Davidson's big day, and SFL insider Ross Napoli when we come back.
Lycans hosting the Florida Storm, and the Storm looking to maintain their dominance over their division as the pass over the middle is caught for the touchdown, and Florida take an early lead. J.W. Doyle, the fullback, getting into the action. It's 7-0 Storm. Later on, Cochran looking to find anyone, and Ryan Prosser picks off Cochran, and the Lycans would take over at the end of the first quarter. Take a look again. An athletic jumping interception to rob Cochran of what would have been a pretty decent game. But however, Sully Richardson would give the ball right back to the Florida Storm as Evan Carroll picks it off and returns it deep into Los Angeles territory, all the way down to the 32-yard line as Sully Richardson is left shaking his head, and the Storm maintain that early 7-0 lead as it's the dueling interceptions right at the start of that second quarter. Ensuing possession. Boletsky on the swing pass. He spins upfield, gets the first down to the 14-yard line, and they're knocking on the door to close out that first quarter. And to begin the second, they go right back to Boletsky on the swing pass, and he shoots his way through the gap into the end zone, and the Storm have that early 14-point lead. And he'll get the call again. He shakes off one tackle. He's at midfield as about to approach the midway point in that second corner as Cochran finds another swing pass to Boletsky. He gets a block, turns the corner, picks up the first down, under 8 minutes to go in the first half. Later on again, same drive. Cochran out to the far side and turning upfield as the tight end. He'll get into the red zone deep into the 5, but it ultimately ends in a field goal for the Storm. 17 points to start off the ball game, and Los Angeles left wondering, when's it going to happen for us? When are we going to start making plays? Let's start right there. Under 2 minutes now as Tommy Brahma was injured, but Los Angeles starting to drive. Little floater over the middle, and they keep the drive moving. Only a couple seconds taken off of the last couple of plays, and ultimately that would end up stalling out, and the Lycans would have to kick a field goal. 17-3 now the score. Last play of the half. Cochran wheels and deals and somehow finds E.J. Minson on the Hail Mary, and the Storm would not let off the gas for the rest of the ball game. That final score would be 24-10 Florida. 3 wins and a loss. Look to be in the driver's seat for yet another playoff.
All right, joining me once again, the editor of Swamp Talk and the general manager of the Louisiana Revolution, Ross Napoli. Ross, great to have you back. How are you?
I'm doing well, Josh. Thanks for having me again.
The Revs coming off a big win against Arizona, wearing the throwback New Orleans Pharaohs uniforms. But and you could take this with your team, or you could talk about the league as a whole. What has stood out to you so far through the first 4 weeks of the season?
Well, starting with us, that was a huge win, and Arizona is a formidable opponent week in, week out. I don't think their record reflects how good that they've been over the past 2 seasons. But a win's a win and a loss is a loss. And, as we know, there's plenty of people sitting at the bottom right now that people weren't expecting at this point. And there's some people who have kind of turned their franchises around where there were some pundits and some other people around the league that just thought that they wouldn't have turned it around at this point. So for us, we're really happy to be at 500 and going into a very important game with Atlanta this week. And, we hope to kind of take the division lead with a win there. As far as some of the surprises around the league, Sioux Falls is +7 in turnover differential through 4 weeks in the season.
Wow.
Last year, they finished the season -17. So to be at this point in the season and one of those teams that are sitting without a losing record and have really seemed to have turned the corner with the 2 down seasons that they've had prior, and to be sitting with a +7 turnover differential, I think was a shocking point. And my last one for you is Kevin Say leading the SFL right now with 777 rushing yards. He's averaging 194 rushing yards a game through those 4, and he's on pace for 2,331 rushing yards, which puts him slightly over Reggie Streeter's MVP season 15 numbers. So I know last week we were talking about Scott Johnson being that early favorite for MVP, and I think overall Scott Johnson is not out of that equation. But since that conversation, Kevin Say being able to once again solidify a monster game last week and to be averaging almost 200 yards rushing through 4 games is definitely a surprise on them.
Ross Napoli, editor of Swamp Talk, that comes out every week. And we've been lucky to have him every week here on Crunch Time. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thanks again.
Coming up, Mike St. Green returns to Crunch Time. We find out what's sizzling after the break. Sioux Falls making their trip to the desert. Sparrows have impressed the last couple of weeks, in large part to that man, GP Wells. GP Wells' little spin move gets the first down. And goal to go yardage. And Wells again, this time right up the middle for the touchdown. GP Wells getting it done. The original, not the original Dirty Bird, but the latest Dirty Bird. Sioux Falls leads 17-10. Joseph Green trying to lead the troops back. Caught and fumbled. Ball's on the ground. Sparrows recover. Tremendous effort there. Take a look again. Mason Kirby does make a football move. And there's another football move. Pouncing on the ball. Sioux Falls on the ensuing drive. Long catch to Al Dillapre Sr. Getting it done there. Sioux Falls would have to settle for a field goal. 38 yards from Zastel Black. That is good. And the Sparrows extend their lead. Vegas trying to answer here. Joseph Green, and that's picked off. John Barnhart pilfering the football. Joseph Green beside himself, lamenting all of his life's decisions up to that point. And Barnhart, take a look. Just nice extension of the ball. Not a well-thrown pass. But Barnhart had no problem with that, I don't think. Noe Terrazas able to turn upfield and get into the end zone for the touchdown. But wait a minute, was he on the sideline or not? Terrazas playing it very coy here. We'll get one look at it. And you see the route. Watch the right foot right there before he spins into the end zone. LA Vegas decides to confer and say, hey, wait a minute, maybe we should challenge that. They did. And then it would be Charlemagne Cornelius who punches it in anyway. The fullback getting a little attention there. Las Vegas now trailing by 3 scores, 27-10 after the extra point. And Doug Britton would answer. Up and down the Vegas Strip, nearly 100 yards for Doug Britton. You see breaking a tackle there, and that is what set him free, getting a big block there from number 61. And the kicker has no shot at tying down Doug Britton. Had himself a nice game. 49 yards receiving, but no yards bigger than those right there. Joseph Green, though, his woes continued. Another interception. That's Jay Ringgold this time. Very rough outing for Green. And Sioux Falls comes out on top 29-17. Your final off the strip.
Josh, man, it's good to be back on with you. A couple of weeks is a long time for guys to get it, for me to get in the kitchen and these guys to get ready. And man, who needs some more sauce? Who needs some more time? As you know, when the chef shirt comes on, we're going to talk about what's cooking around the SFL.
That's right.
And man, who's ready right now? And I think he's going to be on point the rest of the season. Shabazz Synergy, he's been absolutely fantastic for the DC Dragons coming out of the gate. Right now, he's third in the league in QBR with a 104.4. He's tied for fourth in the league with 9 touchdown passes on the season. And here's the most impressive part and why DC are 4-0 right now. Only 5 interceptions under his belt, and that's fourth in the league right now, Josh.
Everybody's been talking about Kevin Say, but Shabazz Synergy is doing more than his part as well. He has looked outstanding, no question about it. So he's ready to come out. Who needs another minute in the kitchen, in the oven? Who's not quite ready for prime time?
And I wouldn't put it that way, Josh, for this particular team. I think they are extremely close. St. Louis 2-1. I want to see a little bit more from them. A huge matchup this week against Denver. If they can win that one, they may be ready to come out of the oven, Josh.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. They've looked very good so far. The body of work, though, is a little bit lean at this point in the season, and obviously they did not play this weekend. Something else to look forward to in Week 5 fresh ingredients. Who is your fresh ingredient for this week, Mike?
Well, he's fresh, but this is a fresh ingredient that everyone knows about. He's kind of like an onion or something that everybody knows. Onion is a great fresh ingredient that everyone knows. But this is Doug Brown. I mean, he's been great for Tulsa. The last couple of weeks, over 120 yards in each of the last 2 games, which resulted, by the way, in Tulsa wins. And not only fresh on the field, Josh. You're going to maybe hear this in the segment later on. They've been looking fresh as far as the gear that they've been wearing. So, man, he's playing fresh. They're looking fresh. Tulsa with a couple of wins in the past couple of weeks. These guys may be right back on track.
Yeah, no spoilers on that, but we do have a little more Tulsa news coming down the pipe to look forward to for sure. What about a secret sauce, Mike? Who is somebody kicking it in the SFL that maybe not everybody's talking about right now?
Well, maybe everybody's not talking about him, but everybody knows who this guy is. He's not a secret, but he's definitely been playing with a lot of sauce. And and look, this is that Uncle Charlie's Mango Habanero. I mean, this guy's been on fire the past couple of weeks. We're talking about none other than Julian Tyree. He has been on fire. He's gone for 372 yards. A couple of weeks ago, 343 yards just this past week against Vegas. He's over 75% completion rate. So, I mean, he's been on fire. He's been sacked 7 times. If they can get that right, man, these guys are going to be back, probably back in championship contention here at the end of the season.
One of the great veterans of this league, and he looks poised to take some of those headlines back from that younger group of quarterbacks that we seem to talk about so much. One more from you, Mike. Who is looking for flavor, maybe not quite ready in terms of taste, but needs maybe just a little salt or a little something to spice them up?
Unfortunately, Josh, I'm going to have to give you 2. And actually, these are 2 of my favorite teams in the SFL, and I just happen to be on one of them. But hey, man, look, that same sauce that Julian Tyree has been using.
Here we go.
I'm going to sprinkle a little sauce on these guys, man. The Portland Fleet and, unfortunately, the London Knights, man. These guys are looking for a little flavor. A lot was expected out of both of these teams this season. Of course, Portland 6-6, barely missing the playoffs last season. And London 6-6 and did make it into the playoffs. But both of these teams are combined 0-7. London looking to get back on track this week after a week off, and Portland coming off of another tough, heartbreaking loss this past weekend. So these teams are looking for flavor. They have the ingredients there, but they maybe need that one extra little punch.
Yeah, and it's big of you to mention your own team, but really you could throw Fort Worth in there as well. Still looking for our first win of the season. Mike St. Green, always keeping it fresh in the kitchen. Great to have you back on Crunch Time, Mike. Thanks so much.
Hey, great to be here again, Josh.
After the break, Rollo and Hood goes back on an old school track. Louisiana, Arizona highlights coming up after the break.
Renegades, Pharaohs. Oh, wait a second. This isn't season 11. It's the Revolution taking on the Scorpions. And the Revolution, after a couple of tough losses, looking to find their footing. Squarebush on the swing pass would pick up the first down as they approach the 2-minute warning here in the second quarter. Later on at the 2-minute warning, another pass to the near side. This one to Chase Earl, and that gets him inside the 10-yard line for 1st and goal. They would ultimately settle for a field goal, which would put them up 10-3 as the Revolution offense could stagnate out at times, but here against Arizona, the defense would make a couple of crucial plays, including this one. Ashley Jackson will find Rolleman Hood, who takes it back the distance, all the way back the end zone. Rolleman Hood with the pick 6, and it's 17-3 Revolution here in Arizona. Ashley Jackson and company looking a little shell-shocked, and the crowd would kind of echo the sentiment as Rolleman Hood made a spectacular play, read Ashley Jackson's eyes perfectly, and returned it all the way back to the house. 17-3 score in that ball game at that point. Would Ashley Jackson be able to recover? Again, deep in Louisiana territory, Jackson, well, that one's tipped, maybe not her fault. That one is picked up again. Robin Hood's second interception of the ball game. And that's what we call the tip drill, ladies and gentlemen. Couple of nice tips. Tank Bennett getting his hand on it to initiate the tip drill. Robin Hood picks up the scraps. Pick number 2 for Ashley Jackson. Later on, again in Louisiana territory. Third interception. It goes to the league leader in interceptions, Mike Ryan, and the Revolution would go on to win this football game 30-10 as the Revs find their footing once again, and they go back to 200 at 2-2.
Portland trying to right the ship after a rough 0-3 start on their way to Carolina. This is Logan Jack, and he is gonzo. Early touchdown there for Logan Jack. Here's the khaki cam. Might have to tweak that angle a little bit. Jack wins the race to the pylon in a flash. Carolina takes the lead 17-14. Portland will try to answer. O.J. Bruin in his second year. Hands off to Ezekiel Love. That's a nice luxury to have. And Love gets drilled by Monte Wyatt. Love bounces right back up. Ain't no thing. Heads back to the huddle. Love again, this time on the left side. Gets a block, breaks a tackle, has a first down. Ezekiel Love doing it all for this Portland team. 33 carries on the game, 155 yards. Bruin this time through the air. And that is caught. Portland will hurry it up here late in the first half. Love around the left side this time. Breaks a tackle inside the 5. Portland burns the timeout. Looking for a go-ahead touchdown. And Ezekiel Love provides into the end zone. His third of the game. Portland takes the lead. And then Portland comes through with an interception. A huge play there by Chris Stack. Watch it again. Stack playing over to the sideline. Comes up with a pick there. Drive would stall out. Portland would punt it away. And Carolina is going to start their drive. In nifty field position, almost in field goal range already. Trailing 4 in the middle of the third now. Matt South over the middle. That's the Harish Prasad. Moving the chains there. Logan Jack around the right side. All kinds of room to the second level. Gets into the red zone. Logan Jack had himself a day. 18 carries, over 100 yards. And that is DeSantis, Vince DeSantis, the tight end. Showing off some hands there as well. Clobbers the referee. That's okay. He should have been standing there. Nobody came to watch you, ref. Carolina over the middle this time. And that is caught. Sam Aviles with the touchdown. And Carolina retakes the lead, and they would keep it. 31-21, your final. And one of the few bright spots for Portland, at least on the defensive side of the ball, as McGarry Burney, the Portland defensive tackle, found the quarterback in that game against Carolina to give him 4.5 sacks on the season. That is good for a tie for third on the SFL leaderboard. His 5 total tackles for loss keep him in the top 20. Up next, the Corsairs would have to lead not 1, but 2 comebacks at home. We got the Fort Worth Queen City highlights after this. Don't go away. More crunch time coming, or I will find you!
Hello, SFL Nation. This is Robert Cherry, and this is Cherry's Picks. Johnny Bravo, Charleston cornerback, had a INT that sealed away the game for us. It was a game-winning field goal that got us the win, but it wasn't possible without that interception. Thank you, Johnny Bravo. Ryan Davidson, cornerback, Florida, had 2 INTs, including one that sealed the deal against Los Angeles. Kane Vasquez, strong safety, Carolina, gets the game-sealing interception to secure victory against Portland. Pass came up the middle, and he jumped right in front of it. Rollerman Hood, cornerback, Louisiana, had 2 INTs, including a pick 6. Player cut the route off and easily ran it back for the TD. These are Cherry's picks.
Week 4 started off with a banger. Queen City Corsairs hosting the Toros. Far side, Jet Zero, and the comeback has begun. Jet Zero finds the end zone for the first time on the day. Jet would end up with maybe another one. We'll get a look here at his first touchdown run to the far side. Had a couple of nice blocks after we teased it in the round the horn type of segment with them getting a punt block, and then to finish it off, a 2-point conversion, and then they're within a single touchdown if things would fall their way. But Queen City start their comeback. 11-19 late on in the fourth quarter. Later on still, deep far side, Superman catch from Doug Spelling. Holy cow, what a catch. And to make matters worse, very next play, they call on him again, and he makes another spectacular grab. Queen City marching down the field in spectacular fashion. Next play, Caswell into quadruple coverage, hits the tight end, Matthew Jr., and Queen City are already in the red zone. Very next play, Jet Zero near side. He's into the end zone. Touchdown number 2 for the Corsairs. And all they would need is a 2-point conversion to tie it up within 2 minutes of that football game. 2-point conversion. Jet Zero shoulders the man of the turf, and Jet Zero ties up the ball game. 19 apiece. Though Fort Worth would not be done yet. Johnny Reno, trying to get things going, finds the Cowboy, Robert Garrett Jr. near side, and the Toros starts to haul themselves back down the field to try and get the field goal range. Next play, finds the out route toward the midfield stripe. Nearing a minute to go, hand up for J.C. Williams on a crucial 3rd down. That will move the chains, and they would finish with Amelia Rose's longest field goal of her career at this point, a 50-yarder. It's good. Fort Worth in the driver's seat with 17 seconds. You would think it'd be all over. There's not possibly enough time for AJ Caswell to make something happen. 9 seconds to go. Caswell, deep bomb, Deezer Powell is gone. And the Queen City Corsairs, who were at one point down by 16 points, they come back to win it at home. 26-22, the Queen City Corsairs move to 500.
Coming up next, it's finally here. The debut of the grid. When Crunch Time returns right after this. Vancouver and their 3-0 record. Taking a little trip to the beach, Charleston, South Carolina. This is Jay Taylor coming through in short yardage. And he's going to get his freak on. You go, Jay Taylor. Charleston now with a commanding 10-point lead. Tom Pepper, Captain Canada, trying to lead the troops back. That's James Walters. We're late in the fourth here. Vancouver's going to hurry up. Pepper dealing. That is Chris Curtis near the sideline. Now in plus territory. Curtis again taking a shot. But gets right back up and heads back to the formation. Pepper again with time. Finds David Gears. And Gears is inside the 5. Vancouver's still going to hurry up. Not using any of those timeouts with less than 3 minutes to play. They need 10 points. Play action here. Captain Canada shrugs off a defender and then throws to the corner, and that is good for the touchdown. Kendra Hall does it again, and she can't believe it. Take another look. The catch, 1 knee equals 2 feet. You don't need 2, you only need 1 here in the SFL. And now Vancouver. Going to kick the extra point. And that would be good. It'd be a 3-point game. Vancouver would get the ball back. And now throwing over the middle. Kendra Hall once again. Pepper continuing. Kendra Hall one-handed. It takes a shot and hangs onto the ball. Another monster game for Kendra Hall. Over 170 yards on 10 catches. Pepper again dealing now inside the red zone. That's James Walters. Vancouver continues to hurry up. This field goal would tie the game. It is up and good. And we are knotted at 23 apiece. Chance to win, doing the honors there. TD Drew. Last play of regulations, taking a sack. And we get some free football. We're going to overtime. Dean Maddox coming through with the sack there. We know him for his interceptions. He can tackle quarterbacks too. Tom Pepper deflected. Intercepted. Johnny Bravo comes up with a pick in field goal range for Charleston. And Bravo going to shimmy a little bit as he heads back to the sideline. Take another look. Tom Pepper looking for Kendra Hall. Ball was deflected, and Bravo was there. TD Drew, they're going to run a couple plays instead of going for what would have been a field goal of 40-some yards. And that is caught. JT Rasman coming up with a catch inside the 10-yard line. And now here comes Brad Bretchett, who recently came off sabbatical to rejoin the Predators. And that is good. Charleston getting it done in OT, knocking off Vancouver, 26-23 your final. And now it's time to play the grid. A limited selection of players and a limited budget. You have $12 to spend, and you must buy a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and a flex position, which could be either running back or wide receiver. Let's play the grid. Here's Josh Zirkle and Justin Reside. We're going to get into this, okay? We're going to go, when you pick your guy, give me an explanation. So, do you think the price is too high or too low or just right? Are you spending on a quarterback? Are you just bad at managing money and you don't realize it maybe? All right? But give me an explanation of why you're going where you're going with your money, and you have the first pick, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to go first with my quarterback, and obviously it's going to be looking at the since he's a $5 high, $5 high pick, going to be Tom Pepper of Vancouver, because you look at Vancouver, they're a good team, and you want a good quarterback with this whole grid system, so it's Tom Pepper for me.
Yeah, I think Tom Pepper is a very good choice. That team is super hot right now. I know they lost to Charleston, but Captain Canada has been getting it done for a long time, and I think that's a good choice. But that leaves the door open for me to pick up Kevin Say, who has been setting the league on fire the first few weeks of the season. About a gajillion yards, a zillion touchdowns. These are official statistics, by the way. But every game he busts 2 or 3 long runs. He had 3 in the first half of his game this past weekend. Thank you very much, Justin, for giving me Kevin Say as I trounce all over your fake team. We don't have defenses, but Kevin Say would run all over your air. So, and now you have a pick, sir. We each out $5. You have $7 left. Who you got?
Oh, I definitely going to go with, obviously, if you got Tom Pepper, you got to have Kendra Hall as your wide receiver.
Oh, you're going to run out of money.
Yeah, I know. I know.
That's okay. That's not okay. You got $12. You need to get 4 guys. You've already spent 10.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm gonna beat you. I'm a man advantage. Kendra Hall's pretty good. Strong season, obviously. I think her worst game, she had like 98 yards. Wouldn't that be great to have just an awful game and like almost hit the century mark? I am going to. Now I need to do some math on my end. Okay, I can't get Scojo. I wanted to take Scott Johnson out from under you. But you can't get him either. So I'm going to make a tremendous value pick here. I'm going to get GP Wells. I think GP Wells is a guy who's gotten better every week. I think that he has a lot of versatility. I called him Jalen Wells a couple weeks ago. I'm really sorry about that, GP. I will do better. But he is a guy on the rise. And we talk about Douglas Brown and Square Bush and that system in Louisiana with all the rookie running backs. Brad Jones, too, and he deserves it. But GP Wells is a big reason why Sioux Falls is playing as well as they are right now.
Yeah. So what do I got? Like,
you have $2. You have $2 left, and you need to get two guys. And there are no $1 guys on the board, Justin.
oh man.
So, but you got $2. You might as well get somebody. I don't know who you could get now. You can get another quarterback. You have destroyed this bit. We can't even get one in the can without you ruining this. All right. Okay, I'm going to give you this. Is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a line of credit. I'm going to give you $7 more. All right. You're going to go over the salary cap. So you're at $19. You have $19. You have $9 left to spend. Who are you going to take with your newfound flow of cash?
Boy. Since you took a rookie, I'm going to take a rookie running back in Douglas Brown, obviously.
Yeah, that's a good choice. What do you like about Douglas Brown?
Better last two games. He did way better. Again, he did way better than the last 2 weeks than Vegas when he got injured. But these last 2 weeks against the week before against Louisiana and this week against Denver, he was real good both games, running over 100 yards. Past 2 weeks, I like a rookie like this. Obviously, Douglas Brown is my halfback for this.
Okay, I'm going to get another player that I really like, Chris Lee. And anytime Chris Lee has a good game, the Lycans win. Anytime he struggles, the Lycans lose. And he struggled last week. 5 receptions for 40 yards. 10 targets, though. They know he's a big part of this offense. They know that he is an explosive player. And I put him at $3 because he had to struggle this week. He struggled a little bit last week, too. Hence the performance of his team. But Chris Lee is as good a deep threat. I'd put him up there with Gabriel Manning, Logan Keel, guys that are having great seasons as well. But for $3, I can't lay off of Chris Lee. Forget it.
Yeah. I'm looking at my last one here for the...
You have $4.
Right. Do I go with Manning or go with E.J. Minson?
And there are no $5 players left, so you cannot screw this up.
I'm gonna obviously go with Minson or Manning. I'm gonna go with E.J. Minson because Florida just ran all over Los Angeles last week with that passing game. My goodness, Florida was just, you couldn't stop their running game. No, it's like E.J. Minson, it was like he was all over the field, even though Cochran threw interceptions. E.J. Minson got touchdowns. Got that one touchdown for Florida the last week. My goodness. That
Hail Mary.
Yeah, that Hail Mary, man. Holy.
All right, I have to do some math here. I have $10 spent. I have $2 left. I have not spent a quarterback. I have not signed a quarterback here, so to speak. And I'm going to spend that last $2 on Tommy Utah, who I think has played good, but not great. He's not outstanding, but he has a great team around him. Colin Hart and Square Bush. He's got a good receiving core. Chase Earl, B.E. Robo, and I'm a big fan of Garrison Blue, too, who just reset his franchise record for receptions. And I think this is a solid pick. Second-year player, also a guy on the rise. I've got a very young team, and I'm looking forward to trouncing your experienced over-budget team, Justin. But thanks for playing the grid. Tell us on Discord who you would have picked, and we'll try and do another grid next week after we give Justin some financial management lessons. Coming up, Cam and Mike put a bow on it. Game balls! More crunch time right after this.
Game balls, week 4 style. Mike, who you got?
Cam, we're going to go out to the desert, and we're going to give it to Rolliman Hood of the Louisiana Revolution. Had an excellent game on Sunday night against the Arizona Scorpions, and they deserved it with those uniforms that they wore. But pick 6 from Rolliman Hood, and I also added another interception late in that game. That pick 6 actually made the difference in that game, turned the game around for Louisiana, and he also had a couple of tackles to boot. So Rolliman Hood gets my first game ball.
And, you know, Hood used to play for New Orleans, so we got to do it wearing his old New Orleans Pharaohs get-ups. I'm going to go A.J. Caswell, Mike. I think this guy is underrated. You know, he gets overshadowed by Matt Wilson, Julian Tyree, Tom Pepper as guys that have been here a long time. But do you know A.J. Caswell has more rushing yards than any other quarterback in SFL history? He has 511. And he has one of the best game-winning drives or game-tying drives and then game-winning plays that we've seen in a long time. Wins the game for Queen City, comes away in the clutch.
Yeah, A.J. Caswell is a great leader for that team, and he deserves that game ball.
All right, who you got next, Mike?
This is going to be my first game ball in my uniform wars.
Okay.
And this team also has to be a team that's winning. And, hey, this team has impressed me and it kind of make me go wow the past couple of weeks when I've seen this team, and they've also won the past couple of weeks. And I'm going with the Tulsa Desperados. They're going to win my first Uniform Wars game ball.
That rust set is fire.
They've been looking good and playing good. I mean, that's an advocate of me. If you look good, you're going to play well. And Tulsa's been doing both in the past couple of weeks.
Bet they smell like lemon pledge too, Mike. I'm going to go last game ball. I'm going to go Kay Marion. Totally turned her career around. She leaves D.C. She goes to Sioux Falls. She blows her career numbers out of the water. Now she's halfway to beating out those numbers from last season. She only had one catch, 96 yards, and a touchdown on the first play for Sioux Falls. They're 2-2. They get the win. They've looked awesome. Those are our game balls. Back to you guys.
Guess what? We're out of show. That's it for us at Crunch Time. Tyler, Valentine's Day is Monday. We got some SFL action coming there. I'm sorry to say that I didn't get you anything.
Well, Josh, the feeling is about the same. I probably would have gotten you a golf club or something like that, because at some point we got to go golfing. But week 5, 8 teams come back from their bye week. 8 teams return from a leave of absence after taking the bye week in week 4. Fun games to go on next Saturday and Monday, and can't wait to watch them all. Maybe call a couple with all of you this weekend.
And I hope those 8 teams that are off that weekend are taking their significant others someplace nice. For Tyler Falk and all of our SFL Crunch Time contributors, I'm Josh Zirkle. Until next time, we'll see you on the internet.